Unless your head is completely stuck in the sand, I think it's time to start considering that AI may be coming for your job. Stick around and I'll tell you more. Hey everybody, it's Brian from Life After Layoff, and today I want to talk about the impact of AI and whether or not your job is at risk. As we know, the start of 2024 has been pretty brutal for the job seeker. We're seeing a lot of layoffs happening across the board. Tech seems to be leading the pace yet again, but it's now spilling over into other areas. And one of the most common reasons these leaders are using to justify these layoffs is an uptick in AI. So in other words, these companies are investing in AI more and more frequently. And we used to speculate whether or not AI would take over our jobs, but I think it's time to face the reality that it's already happening and AI is here to stay. So in this video, let's take a look at some of the data, and then I'd like to give you some tips on how you can future-proof yourself in the event AI may be coming for your job. But before we get into that, if you're interested in more career-related content just like this directly from a corporate recruiter, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content. First, we have Cisco Systems, who is the latest company to announce a major layoff. February 14th, this was announced. 5% of their global workforce is going to be affected by it. And of course, they're joining a long list of other tech companies who have announced workforce cuts in the recent months, in particular the first quarter of this new year. So what stands out to me here is it says that the networking hardware and software maker said Wednesday that it plans to shift its focus to key priority areas such as artificial intelligence. Furthermore, the CEO, Chuck Robbins, says that we'll be continuing to align our investment with future growth opportunities. Our innovation sits at the center of an increasingly connected ecosystem, which will play a key role in as our customers adopt AI and secure their organizations. And while this article doesn't specifically say that they're cutting these jobs in favor of AI, I think we can read between the lines here and assume that's something that's going on behind the scenes, because this recent article on Yahoo Finance suggests that indeed AI is one of the major reasons why companies are laying people off. So we're looking at artificial intelligence finally jumping on this list. Of course, you're going to be dealing with the common stuff like market conditions, no reason provided, which again, let's read between the lines here, cost cutting and restructuring. All kind of lends itself to this AI revolution that we've been seeing. And even the analysts are suggesting that they're going to see more and more companies doubling down on their investment in AI to improve this productivity. In the beginning part of January, the first quarter of this year, we've already seen 20,000 people across the tech industry alone that were laid off. This doesn't count any other industries. But we're seeing a bigger bet on AI by these companies. And to back this up with further fact, Google has announced a layoff in January where hundreds of people in their ads division is going to be impacted by a switch to AI-powered sales. The report said that many of those being laid off or reassigned because AI is replacing them. Google has been packing the ads with a ton of generative AI features lately, and they have natural language chatbots that you'll see more and more frequently, which are making a lot of these customer service and or sales roles redundant. The generative AI ad system is part of a product called Performance Max, which performs anonymously remixing and tweaking your ads using the click-through rate as an instant feedback system. So these AI algorithms are tweaking your ads, which previously was a human doing that. Furthermore, Google used to have humans doing sales guidance on its products and other assets, and now AI can do 1,000 times a second. And I can actually speak with experience. I had at one point talked to somebody at Google. I had an agent assigned to me, and it was an account exec who would do all of this stuff. So I would suspect now I probably won't be talking to an actual human anymore. It'll be all through an AI chatbot, which is, it's kind of freaky. And of course, IBM last year replaced nearly 8,000 jobs with AI, and this is the face of the person who was responsible for those layoffs, the CEO. So back in May of 2023, Arvind Krishna, the CEO of IBM, announced a hiring freeze, but then also stated plans to replace nearly 8,000 jobs with AI. And these would be mostly back office functions, specifically in human resources. So you're seeing a lot of human resources people being outsourced to AI. So your local human resources rep is probably going to be replaced by a chatbot. And the transition will also happen gradually, where 30% of non-customer facing roles will be affected over 5 years. So think finance, accounting, HR, and other areas where there's a lot of manual or data entry. We also have a CEO in India who has replaced 90% of the support staff with AI chatbots, saying that it was a tough but necessary measure and the results have been more efficient. So I think you're going to see a day where you're never going to be able to talk to a human. I think it's hard enough to get through to a customer service for some product that you ordered. Now you're going to be dealing with an AI chatbot. So I don't know if that's necessarily better for the average consumer. And in a recent survey done by Resume Builder, 44% of companies say that AI will likely be replacing employees next year. So these CEOs are looking at the workforce right now and actively figuring out ways to implement AI. Whether or not it's short-sighted, it remains to be seen, but nonetheless, they're doing it. They're doing it very aggressively. Now, this is an article dating from last year, but it says that AI eliminated nearly 4,000 jobs. And what's really interesting about this is it says that the job cuts come as businesses waste no time adopting advanced AI technology to automate certain range of tasks, such as creative work, writing, administrative, and clerical work. And it says that the AI industry is expected to grow more than $1 trillion, fueled by major technological advances that became apparent last fall with the launch of AI, the ChatGPT bot. And if you think about how quickly ChatGPT has taken hold and kind of taken over the world, so to speak, it's pretty scary how quickly people have adopted it and how version after version is coming that's improving. I mean, look at some of the technologies around AI related photography, where there is now technology utilizing ChatGPT where they're creating very photorealistic portraits. So, I used to be a commercial photographer myself, and I'm sitting here looking, going, why would somebody pay me to $20,000 to do an ad campaign when they could just type in a few prompts and they can create it without having to get the talent? They don't have to secure permits. They can basically do everything in this ChatGPT bot. Furthermore, you don't have to worry about rights or usage or model releases or any of that stuff. And if you're a graphic designer, I'd probably be pretty worried as well. So as we look at some of the tasks that AI is particularly adept at doing, they're going to be, it says here that bots will devalue clerical and administrative skills, according to this author. The chatbot bots are already proficient at generating human resources letters, boilerplate text, and some advertising copy. So again, this is where human resources, especially the lower level human resources folks, need to be very, very concerned about the impact of AI. Also, if you're in advertising, they're coming up with a lot of copy, and it's pretty convincing stuff. Says these things just become easier to do. Even the semi-expert work will start to become automated, this author is saying, and that's bad news for junior and mid-level workers. As if we don't have enough to worry about with even just getting a job, now you've got to compete with AI for those precious few jobs. He says that the jobs that are most likely to be displaced involve mundane tasks like writing ad copy or a first draft of a legal document. Those are expert skills and things that people spend a lot of time developing, but there's no question that the software will make them cheaper and therefore devalue the human labor, which is, again, it's a really scary thing. And furthermore, we have Mihir Shukula, I think hopefully I'm not butchering that name, but CEO and founder of the AI and robotics company Automation Anywhere, predicted at Davos, our world leaders there, that anywhere between 15 and 70% of the work we do in front of a computer could be automated. So that should be a shot across the bow for those of you who spend most of your time in front of a computer doing work. If you want to see something really scary, enter a prompt like, what jobs will ChatGPT take? And ChatGPT will actually answer it for you, saying, ChatGPT is a language model that can be used for a wide range of natural language processing, such as text generation, language translation, summarization, and more. It can be used in industries such as customer service, marketing, content creation. So who knows, maybe I'll be replaced by AI too. But however, there's more to note that the ChatGPT is a tool and it will not take any jobs. It will assist in improving jobs and automate certain mundane tasks. Now, in theory, that sounds great, that you can leverage ChatGPT to make your job better. You can be more effective and it free you up to work on more value-added things. Unfortunately, though, the data is showing us that companies are looking at this to replace. It's almost like they're willing to take the hit on the creativity side of things for the sake of saving money. And I think if we learned anything over the last 18 months to 2 years, companies are definitely willing to sacrifice that. And we also have chatbots already taking over online customer service roles like we've already spoken about. But there's an AI-powered robot lawyer that will represent a defendant in court. No, I don't know if I would feel super confident with a AI-powered robot handling my defense, but nonetheless, that seems to be where things might be going. I wonder if you have to pay them their normal hourly rate, lawyers' hourly rate. ChatGPT threatens to replace humans when it comes to tasks that are simple to execute, like following a script or whipping up a standard legal documents. I'm thinking like anybody that does data entry is probably at risk. It says that workers in marketing and advertising have the highest adoption rates, with 37% saying they had used AI, while 35 and 30% of those in the technology and consulting spaces have also reported utilizing AI. Now, according to Business Insider, the jobs that are most likely to be replaced by ChatGPT are as follows: tech jobs like coding, computer programming, software engineering, and data analysts. And what they're saying is these AI tools are already producing good, clean code. So what that means is they can produce good work, and especially that lower level work, very efficiently, much more efficiently than a human could, and in a lot of cases more accurate. Then we have media jobs like advertising, content creation, technical writing, and journalism. And let's face it, it's already hitting this industry as well, because there's a lot of publications that are already laying off their editorial staff in favor of AI. And so you may find yourself reading mostly AI-driven content on the major publications. And then we've already talked about the legal industry with paralegals, legal assistants, where they can do a lot of this kind of, I wouldn't maybe call it grunt work, the heavy lifting of a lot of this technical writing, and it can be done with AI very efficiently. Then market research analysts, where they can look at a lot of data very quickly and compile it and put it into usable formats. AI is really good for that type of thing as well. This one's really surprising to me is teachers, where they're essentially saying that ChatGPT can easily teach classes already. And some teachers are already leveraging things like ChatGPT for lesson planning, grading assignments, and that sort of thing. So what's to stop them from just replacing the teacher altogether? Then we have financial jobs, financial analysts, personal financial advisors, even probably accounting can be lumped into this, where ChatGPT can analyze trends. People are already leveraging ChatGPT to predict trends in the market and investment strategies. And there's some anecdotal evidence that ChatGPT is actually pretty good at that too. And of course, traders, where a lot of trading is already done automated anyway. Now the people who are actually doing the trading may be replaced by ChatGPT bots. And I mean, those are pretty high paying jobs. And we've already talked about customer service agents being replaced by AI, but you'll probably also see recruiters being replaced by robots as well. So there's going to be a lot of tedious work. And I've talked about this in a previous video, why I don't think that this is a good thing for the job seeker. I'll leave a link for it and you can check that one out. But if you think that it's hard to get hired now, imagine when you have an AI robot that is scanning everything and making decisions based off of a very analytical process. Some people say, well, hey, that's great, there's no bias there. Actually, there's been some anecdotal evidence that Amazon's AI bots actually have a bias, but there's no room for interpretation on your resume. And if you're somebody that's trying to change careers, you really want somebody that can interpret your resume and see ancillary or transferable skills. And, simply put, an AI robot is not going to be able to do that. So I think for a lot of people, they actually find it to be harder to get hired if AI takes over recruiting. But nonetheless, that's where it seems like things are heading. And even though it may seem like it at times, it's not all gloom and doom with AI in the job market. So there are some things that you can do to try to future-proof yourself. First of all, take a look at your industry or your job type or what your company is doing and make sure that you're staying in front of the trends. If you're in a job that's highly likely to be replaced by AI at some point in the future, today is the day where you need to start putting that action plan together. So upgrade your skills, try to find a role or carve yourself a niche where you're not as easily replaceable by AI. It's worth keeping a pulse on what's going on in the industry. Go out and check out job postings and see what they're demanding. And if you're seeing common trends with a certain skill or a tech stack or something along those lines, that might be an indicator of something that you want to start to work to get on your resume as well. Because the last thing you want to be doing is scrambling at the last minute to try to play catch up on a market where your job type is being wholesale outsourced to AI and you don't have anything to fall back on. Second thing I might do is double down on my skill in leveraging AI for my job, because there may be a niche there in most people's roles. So if you can figure out ways to leverage AI to your advantage and make yourself that much more efficient, that can be a value proposition that you use to justify why your role is still needed. And of course, make sure that your tools are sharpened, make sure that your resume is up to date and it's solid, make sure that you know how to market yourself effectively. Build a personal brand. I know that's an ugly word for a lot of people. They don't think that they should have to brand themselves, but every one of us has a personal brand, whether you like it or not. And waiting until you get laid off to try to build a personal brand and then kind of an extension of that, networking yourself, that's not the time that you want to do that, because this is something that you should always be building and not when you're laid off and trying to play catch up. But if you found yourself on the wrong end of a layoff, and in particular an AI related layoff, it's actually something that I specialize in. I've got a website called alifeafterlayoff.com, which is loaded with tips and tricks, all from an insider's perspective. And I share my deepest and most intimate knowledge to get you back to work as quickly as possible. The first one is called Resume Rocketfuel, designed to teach you how to write a resume that's going to give you the best chance of getting noticed by either a human or an AI system, so that you can get your name into the interview process. And once you get into the interview process, it's then up to you to market yourself through each successive round. And that's where the ultimate Job Seeker Bootcamp comes in. We take you through each round of the interview process, give you tips, techniques, and tricks in order to ace it, to get to that job offer. And then we teach you how to negotiate it like an expert. And if you want to skip the recruiter altogether, and in particular that AI recruiter, learning how to leverage the power of targeted networking is going to be your best friend. And that's where the course Unlocking LinkedIn comes in, where it teaches you how to skip the recruiter altogether and move right to the front of the line. Furthermore, I teach you how to get recruiters to start noticing you versus the other way around. And trust me, it's a lot easier to get hired when a recruiter is reaching out to you than trying to convince them to take a look at your resume among a sea of thousands of other people. Of course, if you need any specialized help, I do offer some limited private one-on-one coaching. You can reach me through my website for that. But I think we need to have eyes wide open as we see where the labor trends are moving as we go deeper into 2024 and into the future. And as always, I'll keep you up to date on what's going on in the job market. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.